Recording in progress.
Hello, everybody. This is Irfan Khan. Some of you may know me through my classes, and of course, my family knows very well that I like to speak. So, today is a new journey that is beginning for me, and I've decided to launch a new channel basically based on my experiences, my background, and my thoughts as a human being. Right. With that said, first of all, I would like to make a disclaimer that I'm not here to get likes, dislikes. I'm not here to make money. This is my pure transformation that I want to talk about, and is going to be a very, very interesting topics that I'll be talking about. So one day I may be talking about fitness, and the next day I may be talking about the miracles of Allah, right? So essentially, it's a very comprehensive agenda. And the main purpose I want to do this is because I felt this compelling feeling that I like to convey what I've gone through as a human being, what I have gathered, and what made me strong as a human being, as also to increase my faith itself. Right. So essentially, my name is Irfan Khan, and I live in California, beautiful California, but not in Santorini, as you can see in the background. I love to go to Santorini one of these days, but I like the picture, so that's my backdrop at this point. So first of all, why am I doing this? Like I said, I'm not doing it for any popularity, any money, and basically I'm just doing it because I want to do it, right? So let's talk about first one of the things that humans like to do is that all of us, or most of us, I should say, want something back in return. Whatever we do, whether we speak, whether we talk to somebody, we always have this thought process that I want to get something back in return. Now, let's take a different approach to that and ask the question, okay, what if I don't want anything, I just want to do something and move on, right? Is that possible? Probably. But is it usual? Is it common? Probably not. So again, I'll be speaking more about that. So a couple of disclaimers that I'm not here to prove that I'm a saint or I'm a person, who's best of the best. I'm just an average guy, right? So I have been transforming myself for the last few years, and I felt now is the time to kind of talk about my experiences. And of course, I don't know everything. I want to learn from you guys as well. But I thought this would be a good channel. So essentially, this channel, I'm thinking about calling it Irfan Khan Up Close and Personal, a transformational journey, something like that, right? So as you can see, today is the first day, July 12th, and I'll be publishing, videos as time goes by, right? The second thing I'd like to point out is that in this discussion, there is no agenda, there is no discipline, there is no sequence. So it's going to be purely, me speaking about my experiences. And by the way, it's not going to be edited. I'm going to upload it as I record it, right? So you may find some things which are not, edited and so on and so forth. But the point is that I want to make it as raw as possible, right? So some of you may say, you know what, I'm not sure what this guy's going to do. So again, I'm not here to get popularity at this point. So let me start first of all with where I come from and what my background has been. So I came from India back in 87. I remember January 2nd, 87, to be honest with you. And the first state I entered was Oklahoma, and essentially went to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And from there, I went to um, OSU, which is basically Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's a small campus town, nothing big, nothing fancy, but it's beautiful. It had that touch of coziness and also an ambiance. So essentially, that's where I got in, and essentially I started doing a master's. So when I came from India, I finished my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and then I came here to do my master's. And to make a long story short, I took a transfer from OSU to California State Fullerton. That's where I finished my master's in mechanical engineering. And since then, I've been working, different fields. So one of the things I like to point out is that I love learning new things, right? And I'm never tired of learning new things. With that said, even though my background is mechanical engineering, technical background, I love to understand the business side of things. Okay, what is the business requirement, right? And how do I translate that into a functional requirement or technical requirement? So that's just me, but everybody is different. But I love to understand the business side of things, right? So I've been many places, many roles, and so on and so forth. For example, my initial job was in aerospace, working for different big companies like Crane Aerospace, and later on working for Zodiac Aerospace and so on and so forth. And then I also worked for companies like ITT Aerospace, Textron, defense. So one of the things I learned was defense aerospace is probably the best way to join, because they have the best formatted, structured project management, right? And as we go from defense to aerospace, defense aerospace to commercial aerospace, things become more flexible, more casual. So to make a long story short, things that are required as a government contract is nice to have in a regular commercial contract, right? So currently I'm working for County of Orange as managing programs in IT. So as you can see, that I have transformed myself over the years and have become well-rounded, right? And I think I did that because, like I said, I want to learn new things, right? And be able to transform myself as time goes by, right? So let's talk about what drove me to this video again, right? So the point is that I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I felt recently that I was in Toronto for a conference, and I felt that I have this talent of bringing people this presentable person whom I can actually be able to relate to people and actually build relationships with people, right? So I found that if I use my my persona, my talent to talk to people, relate to them, and I think that will be a great plus for me, as well as other people that I speak to. So essentially, like I said, this is going to be the beginning of a journey for me, and essentially you'll see many factors ranging from my fitness craziness to maybe my tennis to some other things that I've learned recently. So let's today I'm going to focus on just a point of view of belief, right? So over the years, as you know, everybody goes through transformation, going from your faith being up and down, of course. But back in March, I went for Umrah, which is a small pilgrimage compared to the Hajj, which is a bigger pilgrimage. So essentially, what I found out when I came back was that I'm driven by the strong force, a very superior superpower, to first of all starting believing in myself and have this belief that as long as I believe in Allah, I'll be able to do anything, provided that I work hard for it, right? So you cannot say that I've done this, I've basically prayed, and essentially nothing happened. And the fact is, if you have not done the hard work, nothing's going to happen. So because the fact I'm trying to say here is that you have to work hard, but at the same time, don't become fixated that if it doesn't happen, then you become disappointed. Right, so let me pause there for a second. So let me repeat what I just said. If you believe that you worked hard at getting someplace, and at that point doesn't happen, you basically say, okay, I did my best, but it wasn't for me, right? Move on. So that's the best thing I've learned so far. And that goes back to the point I made earlier, that if you take away the consequence of some things where you basically feel that I deserve something, right? If you take out the word deserve something, everything changes, right? You basically become more or less as a person whom your belief becomes much stronger, and faith becomes stronger. That okay, you say, okay, if this happens, I'll be grateful, and if it doesn't, I'll still be grateful. I've continued my belief in my what I believe in, right? So essentially, what I'm saying here is that everything is available to us. God has given us everything. It's just a matter of achieving those things using the right channels. When I say right channels, I mean essentially going through the process of, first of all, doing your homework, doing your work, and trying to do certain things in a constructive manner as best as you can. Now, if it doesn't happen, you learn from it and move on, right? So I have a simple philosophy about failures, right? So I believe in two things: either success or learning from the experience. There's no failure in my books, okay? Because if you say I failed and I basically cannot move forward for whatever reason, then it defeats the purpose, right? So all I'm saying is that the attitude should be, okay, you know what? I'm going to learn new things constantly and apply them constantly, right? That's the best advice I can give myself and everybody else, right? So essentially, like I said before, that this is going to be very, very casual, discussion. And of course, I'd like to hear from you, what your thoughts are, and also like to know more about what we could do together to make this more interesting, right? So like I said, I have many, many things that I want to discuss, starting with, of course, my faith, and then going into more, the fitness thought process, which I acquired, a few years ago, but now intensified after the pandemic was announced, right? So I believe that having the ability to, you know, maneuver yourself through different mazes of life, going through the transformation. For example, I took up hiking recently, which helped me immensely. So we'll talk about all this subject matter, and also I want to talk about my likes, dislikes. I love to wear good clothes, of course, and some of you may have seen me in videos or pictures. So I'm going to talk about my own experiences and my, what I think is good way to dress up and make yourself popular and make yourself, likable, I should say, to other people, right? So essentially, so again, to summarize, this is a new channel I'm starting. I'm calling it Irfan Khan, Up Close and Personal, and a Transformational Journey. Okay, and today is the first episode again, and there's going to be not a sequence in the episodes. It's going to be purely random, and so that we can make it much, much relaxed. Okay, so thank you everyone, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.